Eala Jovic upset Svitolina, Venus Williams in ASB Classic doubles. Manila, Philippines. Eala added another former champion and top-ranked player to her kill list for an explosive start to her 2026 season. Young guns Eala and American partner Eala Jovic pulled the rug from under the powerhouse and grizzled tandem of Ukraine's Eala Svitolina and the returning Venus Williams of the United States, 7-6, 9-7, 6-1, on Monday in Round 1 of the 2026 ASB Classic at the ASB Tennis Centre in Auckland, New Zealand. The 20-year-old Eala and 18-year-old Jovic erased a 3-5 deficit with a total of 8 set points saved in the extended opener before shattering the gates wide open in the second for a stunning upset of the 31-year-old Svitolina and the 45-year-old Williams. It's definitely youth power over experience as the Filipino-American tandem leaned on fresher legs to dispatch the veteran duo with multiple titles under their belt in only 1 hour and 29 minutes for a quarterfinal berth. Maligayang Pasko and Happy New Year to everybody. Thank you so much for supporting me and Eala. I had such a good time on court. I think we had a lot of fun, said Eala before a predominantly Filipino crowd in NZ. You know, to start the year with a moment like this and sharing the court with two pioneers of the sport and pioneers off the court as well, people I looked up to since I was young. I'm so happy to be sharing this moment with Eala and with all of you guys. WTA number 53 Eala and number 35 Jovic, who will also see action in the singles starting Wednesday, shoot for a Final Four ticket against either the top-seeded pair of Erin Routliffe of New Zealand and Asia Muhammad of the United States or Czechia's Jessica Malikova and Mexico's Renata Zarazua. Svitolina, a former world number 3, WTA Tour Finals champion and holder of 18 pro titles, is currently world number 13. Meanwhile, Williams, the WTA number 582 coming off a 16-month break, boasts 7 singles and 14 doubles Grand Slam crowns on top of 4 Olympic gold medals and a former number 1 stature. And that was in full display right off the bat as the hard-hitting veterans blitzed to a 5-3 upper hand behind crisp ground strokes and return game that the young duo could not handle. The tide, however, turned from there as the Pinay-American tandem embraced the challenge with resiliency and fortitude amidst deficits and set points one after another. A break point shifted the momentum to Eala and Jovic in the 9th game until they struck to within 5-6, where they scaled the mountain anew from a 15-40 deficit to force a tiebreaker. Trailing 6-7 anew in the extra session, the never-say-die Eala and Jovic staged a 3-0 closeout for a 9-7 victory. And it was all Eala and Jovic from there on, pouncing on the golden opportunity with a torrid 4-0 start on their way to a near shutout capped by Eala's backhand that sliced perfectly through in between the stunned Svitolina and Williams for the victory. Eala and Svitolina will take a break before their quarterfinal stint to focus on the singles campaign. The 4th-seeded Eala, on the bottom half of the stacked bracket, will take on Croatia's Dana Vekic in round 1 slated at 2:10 p.m. Tuesday. Jovic, as the number 3 seed on the upper half with top-seeded Svitolina, already advanced with a 4-6, 6-1, 6-0 comeback against number 182 Gabriela Knudsen of Czechia. The ASB Classic, along with Kuyang Classic from January 13th to 15th in Melbourne, serve as Eala's warm-up tournaments for the Filipinas' main draw debut in the Australian Open starting on January 18th. After that is her homecoming as a wild card at the Philippine Women's Open in Manila from January 26th to 31st, her availability depending on her Australian Open campaign. Fire genesis of a new chapter in tennis. Youth versus legacy at the ASB Classic. On the sun-dappled courts of Auckland's ASB Tennis Centre, under the buzzing anticipation of a crowd hungry for drama, two very different visions of tennis, youthful ambition and timeless legend, collided with unforgettable impact. In one corner stood Eala, the 20-year-old Filipina star whose rise has been one of the most compelling stories on the women's tour. At her side, the 18-year-old American Eala Jovic, a buzzing young talent equally hungry to make her mark. Together, they formed a partnership brimming with fire, energy, and unbridled potential. Philstar.com. Facing them was a duo that could have written the dictionary on tennis experience. Venus Williams, the 45-year-old icon with 14 Grand Slam doubles titles and a career that reshaped the sport, and Eala Svitolina, the Ukrainian warrior of the baseline and a former world number 3 with an arsenal of tour titles and big moment savvy. Philstar.com. Between these teams lay more than a first-round match. It was a passing of torches moment in the making. Brains setting the stage, expectations and storylines. Before the ball was even struck, the narrative was rich. Venus Williams, returning from a 16-month break, stood as one of the most revered figures in tennis history, representing perseverance, legacy, and undying passion for the sport. Philstar.com. Eala Svitolina, a top-level competitor and seasoned doubles player, brought tactical brilliance and professional mastery to the court. Philstar.com. Eala, ranked well within the top 60, had just closed a strong 2025 season and entered 2026 with a new confidence and belief in her game. Philstar.com. Eala Jovic, though younger and less experienced at the highest level, had already shown flashes of brilliance and a fearless competitive spirit. Philstar.com. The dynamic felt almost poetic, the veterans poised to teach, the youngsters ready to learn, perhaps to surprise. But what happened next was more than surprising. It was a statement. Tennis the match. A battle of grit, momentum and momentum swings. The scoreline, 7-6, 9-7, 6-1, tells only part of the story. What transpired was a dramatic tale of swings, resilience, and rising pressure on tennis's big stage. Philstar.com. Set 1, narrow escapes and fierce momentum. The match opened with both teams asserting themselves, the veterans with their measured precision, the youngsters with fearless aggression. Williams and Svitolina surged to a 5-3 lead, showcasing veteran poise and strategic doubles play that would intimidate many. Philstar.com. But Eala and Jovic refused to relent. What followed was a display of tenacity and character that could define a career. Down at 3-5, and later at set points, the young duo saved an astonishing 8 set points, belying their inexperience with clutch shot-making and nerves of steel. Philstar.com. The spectators watched breathlessly as the momentum shifted. The crowd sensed something was brewing, a potential moment that could challenge expectations. And in the tiebreak, Eala and Jovic closed it out 9-7, sending shockwaves through the arena. Philstar.com. Set to Youth Unleashed. Rather than falter after an exhausting first set, Eala and Jovic surged into the second with a confidence that seemed to unnerve their opponents. They raced to a 4-0 lead with crisp net play, unrelenting returning, and youthful legs that kept them firing, point after point. Philstar.com. Williams and Svitolina, seasoned though they were, couldn't find their footing. The older pair had their chances but couldn't avert the rising tide of aggression and belief from the young tandem. Before long it was over. A triumph that felt less like an upset and more like destiny. Philstar.